Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rush Racing League Division 2. We were having some tech issues on the back end, so this is coming in right right at the end of sprint qualifying here for Division 2 at the Circuit of the Americas. We had a fantastic series of races earlier on in NA in this sprint format, and I know Div 4 was also very fun and very enjoyable to watch. So we're going to go in and see how it is here. It is the final 2 minutes of qualifying, so we're dropping you guys pretty much right into the heat of the action here in Div 2. So it's going to be fireworks here right at the end of sprint qualifying. It'll be myself, Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, in the booth. Alongside me is the Governor. It's weird because usually this is the other way around, but tech issues happen sometimes. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna see how tonight goes. But anyways, SJ, how you doing today?
Yeah, could be better, mate. I don't know what was going on. I can't access Twitch. Don't know what's going on. Couldn't get in. So every time I was going live, it wouldn't go live. So Rekus, mate, thank you very much for saving the day. But yeah, this is my last one for 3 weeks. So yeah, what a race it's going to be. Good excitement here at Cota. 2 races on the bat. So we've got the sprint, and then also onto the feature. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to doing it with yourself as well. So it should be a good night, and also a great championship battle going on at the moment as well. So yeah, and some new drivers as well, which will go through them in the feature quality as well.
Indeed, yeah, it's always good to see fierce championship battles, especially because we are in the second half of the season. And it's also always good to see some new drivers going ahead and giving it a go. This is actually kind of the last special weekend essentially of the season. There's no more 100% races after this. There's no more sprints after this. It is just business as usual to the end as we have drivers going ahead and making their way through. And I mean, Watan has somehow set a wicked time, currently 1.3 seconds faster than anybody currently on the track at the moment. So we'll see who can go ahead and see if anyone can even usurp Watanabe as the current sprint pole sitter. Just taking a look at the championship after Abu Dhabi, Oblivion is currently in the lead by a very considerable margin. He's got 185 points, but the battle for P2 is red hot with Squash Josh here, who is not improving on lap. He's only 16th here in sprint quality, so that's not exactly ideal. But he has his rival of Dito, which Dito he's in a better spot than he is, but not by a lot. He's currently in P7, 1.7 seconds off of the pace here. But he's coming through the last couple of corners here at this beautiful track here in the Lone Star State. He's going to come through the final corner and make his way to the line. It'll be good enough for P5, but Watanabe and Oblivion have just unlocked something here, because those two drivers are currently almost a second ahead of anybody else on the field here tonight. So it's pretty unusual actually to see a spread this massive here in times. 3.7 seconds.
Yeah, obviously the break has changed things up a little bit with some of these guys, but we saw this in Abu Dhabi with Watanabe and Oblivion exactly the same, and it looks like we're going to see the same again. So going to be very interesting to obviously pick points up for grabs for both teams, Aston and Ferrari in the sprint. So yeah, as we saw early on in Division 4, it wasn't the best, but there you go. Watanabe, Oblivion, Broadstar, Wicked Moist, Lockie, Dido and Cooperbot and Rift are your top 8. We've got a few people who've left the session there. Swashos has left the session, and also has, I think Mello has as well. So keep an eye on that, because Swashos is the host. So let's just see how things are going to go. But yeah, wait and see what happens.
Another thing too that we actually have to note, as the rest of the field is on your screen here at the moment, is that this also could be a strategic play, because from P15 to P19 they all were on that medium set of tires, so they're saving softs for either the sprint race, or the more likely option is that full feature qualifying that we have coming up. So It'll be interesting to see how these drivers go ahead and adapt here. It is a hot track here in the Lone Star State. Let's see who can go ahead and tame the rodeo. Because as we've seen in the real world Formula One, turn one at Big Red can be a very spicy situation just because it is such a highly elevated corner right under the United States flag. And also that it's a very interesting corner in terms of just the shape of it. It's a very interesting corner when it comes to that. So it is 20 corners here on the track, 5.5 kilometers, 3.4 miles around. And it's a track that's been around since 2012 to modern day. Hasn't really received any changes. I think it might have received a repave at some point. But in terms of the overall track layout, nothing's really changed here, SJ.
No, not really. Are we going to see the same from what we saw in the real life with the McLarens in turn one, which we didn't think we were going to see? And here we go. We've got 3, 4, 5 with lights, and we're away at the sprint weekend at Cota, round number 13. And let's have a look how we're going to go into the first corner. Any drama or any decisions that are going to be badly made? Very good so far, everyone through. Oh, someone going off the track there, a little bit too wide. We've got the Aston Martin of Ricardo going side by side with Zenitsu coming into the S's, but every single car so far all through at the moment. We've got Squash just down there in P19. Hopefully he's sorted out, but there's one guy going off the track there, and that was number 1 Swift as well. So both Red Bulls down there in P18 and P19. Due to a little bit of an issue with leaving the lobby. Hopefully Camillo is back in the lobby as well. I'm just trying to see what's going on there at the moment. We've got 3 guys going wide there. We've got Mikey the Boy and Connor OCE and Daniel T all going at it at the moment. But so far so good. Back up to the bottom. They're both the Red Bulls down there in P18 and P19. Number 1 Swift. I don't even know if he's even in the lobby or not. He's on 100% on battery at the moment, not even burning anything coming down the main straight with a little bit of damage on that front right-hand side of that car. We've got Watanabe at the front at the moment, 1.6 seconds out in front, so he is definitely having a good night so far. We've got Oblivion down there in 1.6 seconds behind him. Then he is followed by Portstar, Lockie, Wicked, Dido, Cooperbot, Rift, Zenitsu, Ricardo, Ozaminero, Connor OT, Daniel T, Mikey the Boy, Plugger, Lamb, Squashter, Camillo, and number 1 Smith. Back to you, Vegas.
Indeed, yeah. And something I want to know, we're going to bring up tires here. And everybody's on the same set of mediums, but Watanabe has checked out. He is just romping off into the sunset there. That Aston Martin is definitely flying here through the circuit of the Americas. We have a retirement in the pits, so Swift, his sprint comes to a swift end here in Cota. The beauty of a sprint weekend, though, is he will have another chance at it. But Broadsta is now going to go ahead and try to put pressure onto Oblivion now. This set of S's is modeled after Maggots and Beckett's from Silverstone, but trying to follow a car through here is almost as rough as it is trying to follow a car through the S's in Silverstone. But he will get a good run of things here coming down the massive straight. He's going to have a DRS on this go-around. The rear flap is open on the back of the Alpine. He's going to be chasing Oblivion here. Is he going to be able to get the move coming into turn 12? No, he will close the gap, but that's about as good as he can do right now. In this exchange, Plugger and Mikey are swapping positions just behind them, going a few wide. It's the Racing Bull and the Mercedes doing some battle here. Positions are being swapped around as Connor gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. That's a bit of a rough one to get, especially in a sprint where you don't really have a lot of time to make up, just to try to even remotely start to try to play it by strategy or negate the penalty here. But coming back up to the front, Broadsta is now still trying to put pressure onto Oblivion. He's going to close the gap coming into Big Red. And now he's going to go ahead and make his way into the Lone Star S's. We'll see if he can follow close enough to there, but he is pretty much right where that dirty air hits the hardest.
Yeah, definitely. As we can see at the moment, Watan having a fantastic night in the sprint at the moment. Absolutely doing a phenomenal job in front, 1.3 seconds in front of Oblivion. Oblivion just keeping in the DRS there of Broadstar. Broadstar nearly losing it, but he's got a nice little battle going on behind there. Lucky in the new founder of Williams there, and Camilo has joined finally on lap 3 out of 10, so hopefully he's got his connection sorted. And then also he's battling up against his old teammate Wicked Moist there, which we will talk about a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. We've then got the TP and the teammate of Lucky of Dido down there in P6. Then we've got Cooperbot there in P7, Rift in P8, having a nice little battle there with Cooperbot, keeping very close to him, trying to get the move down there in the kick cell, but at the moment very nicely done. Nice little battles going on there. We've got Cairo CE, he's in the fun-filled battle there between Ozzy Monero, Ricardo, Daniel T and Plugger, and also the new recruit of Ozzy Monero in that Alpine as well, which is going to be signed, sealed and delivered after this race. So we wish him all the best in the remainder of the season, but so far he is down there in P11. Honor CE with that 3-second time penalty already in P10. Zenitsu, the only Haas driver in that P9. Really unfortunate for him. He's going to be putting the pressure on Dr. Rift. And Cooperbot, as Rift goes to the outside and gets the move done. Does he get the move done? Very nicely there. Keeps that in front. No. Cooperbot's going to come back out of him. No, he doesn't. Rift takes the position back up to the front. Wicked Moist getting closer to Lockie. Lockie lost the DRS to Broadstar. So it's 4 and 5. And Broadstar has lost the DRS to Oblivion, Records. So, an interesting battle it's going to be. It looks like Oblivion has pulled in Watanabe in the last couple of laps.
Indeed, yeah, and I do want to give a quick apology. We have looked into this backfire issue that seems to happen with the F1 cars, where the the backfire kind of glitches out. It was introduced a few updates ago, and I've went through several different settings to attempt to fix it, but for some reason it's just an EA thing, unfortunately. So hopefully they do fix it in a future update, but nevertheless we'll still bring you all the action. But back to the racing here, Oblivion has actually lost Watanabe again, so just not quite in that DRS range here, coming through just Sector 3, and Sector 3 really isn't the best spot to get overtakes. You can get overtakes here, it's just a bit trickier compared to some other parts of the circuit. But now we're going to go ahead and start off lap number 5. We're officially at the end of the first half of the sprint race here in the Circuit of the Americas, the final sprint of the season here for Div 2, and we'll see how these drivers are going to go ahead and clinch this out. The battles here are very strong here. It is Wicked who is still trying to put pressure onto Lockie, and we'll see. He's actually gaining a bit through the S's here, so that's something you don't see too often here on this track, but Wicked is doing a very good job of just keeping him within his line of sight and keeping him within the DRS range. But he's kind of tucked into a bit of a Williams sandwich now, because just up ahead as Mikey gets a 3-second time penalty. Not the start of the weekend that Mercedes would have wanted here, but he's got one Williams in front and another Williams directly behind him, so it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. He's going to go ahead and continue to push, coming to the back of that Williams, and they will keep position for now, but I think this is going to be a really spicy battle, as Dita now coming up to the back of the McLaren. He's going to give chase, and he's going to try to, at minimum, make things easier for his teammate. But Oblivion has kind of, his pace has seemingly dropped into Oblivion. There's now Broadsta's basically knocking on the door of DRS range here.
Yeah, definitely. I've just seen that one time, 2.8 seconds out in front at the moment. So he is flying in the Aston Martin. He's got some serious pace here at Cota, and there's battles going on all over the place. Broadstar now is back in the DRS of Oblivion, but there is a bit of a difference on the ERS there, so let's have a look. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. But Oblivion, I don't know if he's struggling there or made a bit of a mistake, but 3 seconds already off the back of Watan on lap 6, and they still have the 50% race to go. Yeah, we got Lucky down there in P4, 2 seconds behind Broadstar, trying to lose his ex-teammate there of Wicked Moist down there in P5, but right on the cusp there is Dido in that P6 position. Nice little battle there between Cooperbot and Rift and Zenitsu. They're all going at it as well, so there's battles in the midfield pack at the top, and then just under the midfield as well. So battles happening all over the place at the moment. Lap 6 out of 7. Records, I've just got to go, and I'll be back in a second.
All right, all good. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of keep an eye on a few different battles. The battle we really need to watch here is this battle for P2 as they are fighting it out. Broadstead, I think, was thinking about a move here, and oh, Oblivion snapping, coming out of the corner. He's having some snaps right on the exit of turn 12, and that's gonna kind of open the door. We've seen moves in this corner in the real world, and in mixed results, but Broadstead is gonna go ahead and bide his time. He does have a much better opportunity coming up here in a few moments time, because he rolled the DRS right after turn 20. And now the driver's got to be careful, because turn 19 is a very popular hotspot for track limit violations. So, I mean, you could fight tooth and nail for these positions, but ultimately it could all be for naught. If you get that penalty, he's going to go ahead. He's going to try to go on the defensive on the inside, trying to make it through Big Red. Is it going to be a switchback? Is Broadster going to get it? No, not yet. It's going to be a battle there. There's a battle right here too. But there's so many battles to watch here as they go through the Lone Star S's here. They're going to go ahead and give it their all. Oblivion gets a 3-second time penalty. So that's just going to rub salt into the wound there as these drivers still continue on here, as we got this beautiful helicopter shot of these guys making their way down into turn 11 just before the big long straight. And then just behind them, it is a battle for P4 here still. Dito is going ahead and trying to put some more pressure, try to at least give his driver overall a bit of a reprieve here, but also give Williams some much needed points. Thinking of shaking for a move, but look at this coming up here. It is going to be close battles. It is Broadstead trying to make a move happen here. He gets really close, but not quite. He will have some more attempts to go at it, because it is only lap number 7 out of 10 here on the night. Or even just in the sprint race. We still have a 28 lap feature race to go after this and after another short quali. So they're going to go ahead and do battle yet again. And Moist gets a penalty here. So that pressure from Dito did work. That's right off the back of turn 19. He was getting those penalties. So it is interesting that our two strongest battles here in the top 5 have ended as a result of penalties. And now we have Cooper trying to go ahead and put pressure onto Rift, as Squash Josh has retired in the pits as well. So both Red Bulls just not having a great night here in terms of the sprint anyway. Hopefully their feature race is better for them. But now we do have Cooper going ahead and trying to put pressure, trying to go ahead and close the gap to Rift here. The FST driver and the DRZ driver going ahead and doing some battle here on the night. We'll see who could come out ahead in the sprint, as we still do have battles all through the field. But I mean, one driver who's not really battling is this man right here, Watan Navy. I mean, he is putting on a fantastic rodeo, and look at this. Battles here, switchback happening around. Oblivion and Broadstead, their fight is still going on. At this point, it's just for personal pride, as we do see that Broadstead is going to win this battle out eventually due to penalties. But as we know, these guys are racing drivers. They're going to want this done on track. And the battle behind is still going strong too. I mean, it looks like Wigged is really under some pressure now from the Williams TP.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that some of those penalties have definitely changed things up there. Oblivion with that 3, Wicked with that 3 as well. Dito can't seem to get past him at the moment, and I don't know if that's... I don't know if his teammate's actually helping him or not. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting situation. I think Dito knows that Wicked's got that 3 seconds, so they probably won't want to worry that much. So, Williams will be chuffed with this. This is looking like a P4, P5 finishing the sprint. Good points for them. Oblivion dropping down there. Watan getting a 3-second time penalty, but he is too far in front, so he is okay at the moment. But this guy has got some speed tonight, Wreckers, out in front. If he's doing this in the sprint, what is he going to do in the feature?
Yeah, it's also worth noting everybody is on that same set of medium tires too, so there's not really any specific tire advantage coming into play here as Bronsta is now going to look to really start putting some more pressure onto Oblivion. We're seeing these two kind of battling for position earlier on. Is this going to be the time? He's going to go on the inside, and he's going to try to stick it up the apex. He's going to try. Oblivion has to go wide, and then this sets him up nicely for the switchback attempt. And these guys are going to go side by side. They're going to do so much battle here. Look at this. These guys are just all over the place, and it is beautiful to watch. Side by side, Brosnan's got the position for now, but they are so neck and neck. They are side by side, going through the sweeping right-hander, and Bronsta just is going to have more pace in the moment. He's got the move coming out of 19, and what a battle we are seeing here. Even though Bronsta would have this position anyway, but Oblivion is pretty much already back. He's going to go and try to answer it here on the final lap of the sprint. He will get back past. And man, this is cinema. And to kind of rehash the point you were making earlier about Watan, if these two are to battle this hard in the sprint, the feature race battle between these two should be pretty cinematic if all things go similar to how they went here in the sprint.
Oh yeah, definitely. But the thing is while they're battling in the sprint, and Broadstar 5.5 attempts now, and Oblivion back out in front, it's brought Lucky into it. It's also brought Dino into it as well. So Oblivion's got to be careful that he doesn't lose P3 and then keeps going further and further down the pecking order, because Wicked does have that penalty at the moment. Dino is right behind him, so this is going to be interesting to see as Broadstar is just in the DRS there, burning everything he can. Oblivion out of battery as well. As you can see, Lucky is 2.3 seconds behind as Wicked does go for a move there and locks up the brakes, gets good for a switchback, tries to get the move done there. He does have the 3 seconds though, and Lucky will hold that line as Wicked tries to go for the move. Does Dino get the move as well? We're going to go on board with Oblivion, because Oblivion Broadstar's going at it as well. It's still 2.6 at the moment. I think Oblivion could be in the clear unless anything happens between the final corner as Lucky coming around 2.7, and Watan is going to take the win from the sprint. What a night for him so far, absolutely a domination. And then Oblivion into P2. He's going to lose that P2, but is he going to get that P3 spot? That's the question. Lucky coming across the line, does he do it? Oh, we've seen a bit of an incident there in the yellow flags, and yes he does, by 5, basically just under 5 tenths. He gets the P3 there, and a great finish there for the Williams in P4 and P5. Wicked Moist in P6, Drift in P7, and Cooperbot in P8. A little bit of drama at the back there. We did see a yellow flag, but what an interesting night so far for the sprint there, and double DNF there for Red Bull. Not the best start for them, due to obviously that connection issue though.
Yeah, it's not a great way to start off your week, but that's the beauty of a sprint, is that you pretty much have a good chance to go ahead and get a reset, get another qualifying in, and then just give it another go. So, I mean, hopefully it will be better for them. We'll go ahead and run through our sprint results here. It is Watanabe taking pretty much the Grand Slam in the sprint, fastest lap. On top of that, followed by Broadsta, Oblivion, Locky, Dino, Wicked, and then we have Rift, Cooper, Zenitsu, Daniel T, Plugger, Ozzy Manero, Camilo, Connor, Micah the Boy, Richardo, XD Lamb, and then the 2 Red Bulls, Squash Josh and Swift, rounding out our grid for the sprint. But that's the thing, it is the final sprint weekend of the season, and so we got a feature race and a feature quali coming right up. So for some drivers who might have not had the bestest of times in the sprint, they get a chance to have a mental reset, to take a deep breath and just give it another go, and then try it for the big points.
Yes, I'm going to just put a prediction out straight away. Will we see Watan get pole? Yes, no. There we go, because we've seen how much pace he's got. So there you go, prediction is in. Will we see Watan get pole? Put your predictions in. Remember, track selection has been done and dusted. There is no more track selections. That's it for season 10. All tracks have been voted, so I'll have to wait and see. But let's talk a little bit about the qualifying here, because we do have a few changes that we did see in silly season. I don't know if you can remember silly season part 2. It's just finished. But yeah, we've got some few changes, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Then we got obviously Daniel T, a new driver coming back. Welcome back, and he's reserving for kick at the moment. Broadstar staying with the Alpine. You got Cooper Bot obviously staying with the V-Cabs. Watan staying with the Astons. Plugout staying with the V-Cabs. Wicked Moist staying with the McLarens. Lamb obviously reserving up tonight. Dido in that Williams. Camillo, let's talk about Camillo. Camillo switching Williams for the Papaya. What's your thoughts on that, Ricketts?
It's interesting. Just sometimes just getting a new team and getting a new environment just kind of it does wonders sometimes. So I mean, we've seen sometimes where it's been really good for drivers, and then other times we've seen where it's just not been super great. The biggest thing I can remember was actually from Silly Season Part 1 was, and I know I've mentioned it a bunch of times when Silly Season comes up, but the turnaround that Dynasty Sparrow has had in his season ever since switching from Merc to Aston Martin, that one has been a pretty solid turnaround. And I wonder if we'll see a similar-ish turnaround in McLaren here tonight. We'll just kind of have to see. Taking a look at the Constructors' Championship here in Div 2. Go ahead and just talk about that real quick. McLaren aren't exactly in a great spot. Although granted, from P2 all the way down to where they are is so close that, I mean, they could really just switch on the drop of a hat. So with this new addition of Wicked, it may actually be beneficial. I mean, I think even right now they have potential to jump Red Bull, considering that Red Bull's been having a few of their issues here tonight. Even though they are currently 6th in the drivers or constructors championship, the points separating them from there to P2 is only 20 points. And also, considering Mercedes and Williams are tied, any changes that they made in this division could either really make or break their season.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see. They obviously did a very, very good week in Division 6 on the Ray Run at Imola. And we'll obviously have to wait and see. Obviously, F7 raced early on today. They're going to need the points. They have got a nice little battle going on their hands with Aston Martin at the moment. But yeah, interesting to see how Camillo and Wicked are going to go in this race. They had a very good sprint. One of them did. Obviously, Camillo did struggle with that connection issue, so we'll have to wait and see if there's any change there. We're going to go a little bit further down the pecking order. Then we got Rift in the kick. We've got number 1 Swift in the Red Bull. Ozzy Manuro. Bit of a question mark on this guy. I don't really know too much about him. So what do you think we can see from him? We didn't see too much in the sprint, but do you think we're going to see a little bit more in the feature on Ozzy Manuro?
So the interesting bit of information that I have about Manero is he is one of the FST Academy drivers. So funny enough, earlier I did notice that it's him and Cooper that are the FST representatives tonight, and he was actually talking about it a bit earlier on, saying that it was him versus an Academy driver. So Ozzy might have some good promise, and yeah, I don't think we've seen his full potential from the sprint. I haven't talked with Manero personally, but we'll kind of see how he does here. He did okay in the sprint, but then again, he was kind of just caught up in that midfield kind of area. But it'll be interesting to see how he does here with Alpine. I think Alpine have done a pretty decent job in recent times, although taking a good look, it's pretty much a battleground in the constructors right now for everything outside of P1. Just because, I mean, there's only 20 points separating P6 to P1 at the moment. So, and we know that can change at a drop of a hat. So, it'll be interesting to see how all these new drivers and new squads will benefit their squadron. I'm really looking forward to see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to get a little bit further back down, and we'll go over to this driver, QMP13, Lockie. Well, we saw him in a McLaren beforehand. He's made the jump to Williams. A bit of a deal going on there between, obviously, the Williams situation and the McLaren situation when he was racing for them. What's your thoughts? Obviously, Bido and Williams themselves have had a bit of an unlucky start, but things have picked up in recent weeks with Nishka getting good points. Deadly was getting some good points as well, and Dino getting a few podiums. Do you think we're going to see a bit of a fantastic run from the two teammates and the new driver of Lockie?
I think honestly Williams has had such a good comeback this season because I mean I know you remember that like in the early stages of the season that Williams was practically nowhere. They were just kind of struggling. Like Div 2 was really their only good division at the start of things, and I think Dito has done a really good job of turning this Williams team around and turning them into some pretty solid contenders here. And I mean, they are quite a ways away in terms of the Constructors Championship for P1, but granted, P2 for them is a pretty good result, and they have been climbing up the order. They're just now one singular point ahead of Alpine, just after the Imola rerun for Div 6. So they are now up into 7th in the overalls. Not too far off of Sauber, so I think Dito has done a really good job of kind of revitalizing this Williams team. It'll be interesting to kind of see how this team improves. I think there are some more podium potential, or more podium chances for this Williams team. I'd be curious to see how Lockie gels with this new squad, because there's usually a teething period when signing with a new team, and that could go for any sport. It can go for football, it can go for soccer, it can go for basketball, Formula One, any form of sports. Joining a new team does have a bit of a teething period, and drivers are just going to have to take some time and kind of get used to how things operate. But I think once some drivers just kind of get used to how things work with a specific team, they'll gel together, and ultimately I think it could be a pretty successful partnership.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's going to be very interesting to see. But I've just jumped on board with Watan, and he's just coming into the S's now. I just want to see what his time's going to be. He was very, very smooth and very, very good in the sprint. Are we going to see the same Watan that we did in the sprint in the feature here? He seems to be very, very fast in Cota as well. So let's have a look. He's coming up the hill now, coming then down the hill very, very nicely. They're very, very well done on using as much of the track as possible as he can. 44% with the ERS coming into Sector 2 there very nicely on the hairpin all the way down onto the curb. A little bit out of sorts there could be, but as you can see, using as much of that track as possible and burning all that ERS with that DRS coming down that main straight into Sector 3 there. Dito's going pole with a 131.950 at the moment. We saw no one in the 31s, only top two. We're seeing top two already in the 31s compared to the sprint, so we're seeing a little bit of a change here. Wonton coming round into the American Express area, here into Sector 3, round the bend he goes all the way, keeping very, very tight, then being very, very careful on the last one, because you've got to be very careful. If you don't, you could just push it out a little bit too far and get those track limits, but very smooth so far. Oh, he's got a little bit out of sorts there, and he's done a 130.608. That's incredible. What a time. He's 1.2 seconds quicker than P2 wreckers. This guy should not be in Div 2 at this track currently.
Yeah, this man should be in Div 0 just because of how quick. I think he would be challenging some of the times of Div 1 here at this rate. Maybe even faster than them, so, that is, yeah, I don't know what it is about Wonton in this track, but Wonton in this track, it is a match made in heaven, especially with Aston currently leading the overalls right now by about 54 points roughly. This is exactly what they need. Just absolute domination out of the gates here in Div 2, just right after silly season is wrapped up. And now we're going to head and just look at Lockie here. He's about to go ahead and complete his lap. He's coming through turn number 20 now. Where's his time going to be? It's good enough for P7 on the road. And honestly, that's not a bad time to kind of kick things off. Here's the thing that scares me about Wonton, right? That was his banker lap, mind you. Now, granted, the track does have rubber on it from the sprint, so the track is just going to be generally quicker than it was in the sprint and sprint quali, but that was just kind of like his benchmark lap. So that is terrifying. if he's putting in times that quick. Although Oblivion isn't too far off, about a little over 3.5 tenths here, as we do see some drivers still going on some laps here. Ozzy Manero, we were talking about him a bit earlier on, one of the newcomers to the Alpine team. We'll see where he can go. We'll see if he can improve here and try to get into a good position here as one of 4 drivers who have yet to set a time out are just under full grid here tonight. As Ozzy Manero is going to go a bit wide there on the exit, but he'll get away with it. And up to P4. That's a very good time there for the second Alpine here tonight. I mean, pretty good stuff here from Ozzy Manero just to kind of kick things off. Cooper now going in and trying to finish off his lap, or actually he's just started a lap. He sets a purple sector 1 though, so at minimum he is setting a personal best in that sector, coming through what I like to call the Lone Star S's. Now he's going to go onto the main straight here, but it's still just really bizarre seeing just how much of a gap there is in between these drivers here in Div 2, SJ.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It looks like we are going to start to see the same as what we saw in the sprint. If you're looking at the top 3, it's exactly the same again. The question is can anyone get into those 30s? Only 2 drivers in the 30s, and we only saw 2 drivers in the 30s earlier on in the sprint. So, yeah, Woodstar, he's got a lot to do to catch up to those guys at the moment. Because if you're looking at those times, just looking at those times, yeah, he's 1 second off the leader already. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. But in that P3 down to P6, there's a nice little battle going on there, and Zenitsu's very, very close to getting to them 31s as well. A little bit further down after the P15 they land, the 32.5, Squash 33.076, Ricardo 33.2, Daniel T 33.6 as well. So yeah, a few of those guys struggling with their times as well. Interesting to see 33 here at Cota. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. We've got Connor OCE as well. Division 3 reserving up, so we'll have to wait and see how he goes in Mercedes. And Rickus, over to you, mate.
Indeed, yeah, Connor is going to go ahead and go through a lap here. He comes up to Big Red, and now he's going to go through the Lone Star SS right next to the very famous Cota Tower. And he's going to go ahead and make his way through the S's. Now, the S's are a crucial thing to get right here on this track. If you get the S's wrong, then your lap time really isn't going to be super great. Just under 25 seconds going through that first sector now for Connor. And he's going to go ahead and try to fire up that Mercedes. And he's going to go into turn 11 just before the massive straight. And so he's going to give it a go here. He's going to go ahead and turn on the afterburner, start burning the ERS here as he makes his way down the straight here, coming into turn 12. Good run here. We'll see what his sector 2 split is. He's going to cut it very, very close there on the apex. Purple sector 2, so he's definitely got some pace in him in that Mercedes. He didn't have the greatest of times in the sprint. Actually, realistically, neither Mercedes really had a fantastic time in the sprint, but now he's going to go ahead and just turn on the afterburners and get things rolling here. He's coming through turn 19 where we've seen a lot of lap times invalidated. He'll keep it within the white lines there. And he's going to go on the brakes. A little bit of a skid there coming through turn 20. He's going to come across the line. Good enough for P6. A 1:31.9. 1.3 seconds off the pole time.
Thank you, Rickus. A few more people at the moment getting into those 31s now. We're still seeing 3rd down to 7th. Not much change at the moment. The front 2 are going out for their last laps here. Watan and Oblivion. The question is, are we going to see a change here? We saw Oblivion struggle in the last couple of laps, or the last hurdle of the sprint. So is that a worry for Oblivion? He was struggling a little bit in that sprint. So is that going to cause problems in the feature? Do you think he could come undone in the feature against Broadstar?
What I want to say about that is, the Ferrari engineers are going to have their work cut out for them. But if his engineers can kind of talk to him and kind of give him like a pep talk, essentially, like, hey, you know, here's what we think might work in terms of the strategy and in terms of how you can manage these corners better, then it might not be an issue here. We'll just kind of have to see as we are in the closing stages of qualifying. Watan just letting all the traffic go on through. And actually, I think he's trying to give a bit of a tow to his teammate here, who is just behind of Ricciardo, just vying for that track position. Oblivion's out of qualifying, so he's already called it quits here in quali, so it's really going to be up to Broadsta in terms of pace. But even then, I think Watan, like the chat has said, he is locked in here as the unfortunate backfire glitch has returned. It was gone for a while, and we actually got a really good cinematic shot of Watan with the Cota tower in the background. But now I think it's just these drivers just kind of gearing up and getting ready to go for their final laps here of qualifying here on the final sprint weekend of the season. And Watan's doing a little bit of lawn mowing work here as he gets ready to get a tow from his teammate, or just potentially helping his teammate out, although I think he's just gonna go ahead and just kind of bide his time. He's got a really good time here as a benchmark. But hopping on board with Ozzy Manero, currently starting his next lap. He'll be the first driver of this gaggle to go to begin another lap, and pretty impressive stuff here. He kind of had an unremarkable sprint race and sprint quality, but here in the feature, he's actually been mighty impressive, up into P4 on his starting lap, and now he's going to go ahead and give another go. He did lose a small fraction of time, though, in the first sector, so we'll see if sectors 2 through 3 could be any better for him here, SJ.
Yeah, just watched there a little bit. He was actually down on his time there, so no improvement at the moment. Wicked, though, was up on his time, so he's improving massively. And I'm just going to jump on board with him. He's coming down the main straight now. As you can start to see, behind Wicked, the track is really starting to warm up. And you can see there's a lot of cars on the traffic, so hopefully we're going to have no impedes or no problems. But Wicked Boy's coming into Sector 2 now. Is he going to be able to get a little bit further up and try and get in front? Yes, he is. There you go. Purple in Sector number 2, 1.5 temps up, just over 1.5 temps up. So that will push him to a 1:31, and looking at a 1:31.69 at the moment. We'll have to wait and see if we're going to see an improvement coming into the last couple of corners and sectors, as well as he's now coming into the final sector very nicely so far from Wicked. Not too much ERS though, keep it clean. And he's lost it coming out, and he's got it all wrong there, and he's that's such a shame, and that could actually move him a little bit further down if they do not see an improvement. Dido is improving as well, 0.058, so he's improving. He's coming round into sector 2 now, going into sector 3. A little bit of traffic out in front. You've got, it looks like Camillo has moved out the way, or someone's moved out the way there. So Camillo, not the best starts for him at Cota at the moment. What about Lockie? Lockie down there in P10 as well. Dido coming around into the last couple of corners. A little bit of traffic out in front. There we go. Anyone going to be an improvement? We've seen Cooper Bot go up to P4. Fantastic job from him. That's moved a few of these guys down. Dido, what's Dido going to do? He stays. No, he goes up into P4 and drops Cooper Bot down. And there you go. And then you got Broadstar that goes into P3 and Lockie into P6. So there is an improvement there. And there you go. We've got P3 down to P. Oh, there we go. Rift comes in with a banger of a lap there. 1:31.662. And then that is it. So P3 all the way down to P11 are in the 31. So big improvement on that last couple of minutes. Final quali lap there, Rickers.
Indeed, yeah, that was incredible. I mean, I jumped on board with Rift at the last moment, right as he came across the line to get that improved lap time. Still about half a second off of Broadsta, but I mean, Rift has certainly been the best of the rest here in this quali session. Because, I mean, you got the top 3, and then, I mean, Rift pretty much just put himself in a pretty good spot here for Sauber. So, I'm actually really glad to see how this turned out, and it's really good to see some really good surprises. Some drivers who kind of had a iffy sprint are now in a pretty good position to have a good quali, or a good feature. But anyways, Running through our order, it is Watanabe on pole position, looking to make things a true Grand Slam, followed by Oblivion, Broadsta, Rift, Dido, Cooper, Locky, Minero, Wigged, Swith, OC, Zenitsu, Richardo, Plugger, Camilo, Squash, Mikey, Lamb, and Daniel T, rounding out our grid here tonight. Some pretty big gaps in quali, but they're all going to get bunched right back up like a can of sardines as we go ahead and get ready to have probably the most enjoyable rodeo in the USA here, which is the feature race at the Circuit of the Americas. Lots of good overtaking opportunities, lots of good battling as we saw really right there towards the end of the sprint. Cota does have a somewhat of a history of having some kind of weather shenanigans, but it is a bright, sunshiny day here in Austin, Texas. We'll see who's going to have a very successful rodeo here at this track, but I mean, the only downside to this Cota race is that I just don't have a cowboy hat to actually spectate this race with. You think anyone else is actually wearing a cowboy hat?
I don't know. Not inside, Rekis, I wouldn't say so.
I mean, I have seen some pretty funny things from some esports players. One of the Rainbow Six Oxygen players actually wears a sombrero every time he competes, which is really funny. Just that mental image of somebody wearing a sombrero while playing any competitive game, although I figure it to be pretty tricky in terms of like sitting in your sim rig. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and get things rolling here for the feature race here in Austin, Texas. And it's lights out and away we go here in Austin, Texas. We're going to make our way into Big Red. Watanabe going and doing good. Some positions are being scrapped around here. And it looks like Bronson might get the move on the P2 in the opening stages of this feature race here. They're going to do battle through the S's, and they are going to fight it out tooth and nail for these positions. And he's going to go ahead and give it a go here. He's going to tuck right back in. He had the position for a little while, but ultimately not enough to make any significant inroads here. And Watanabe is already 1.4 seconds out at this time. He's already caused a bit of a touch and go there from Broadsta onto Oblivion, and positions are all shaping up here in the back. Daniel T's actually made a really good run up the field here. He's up into 16th already, looking to make it 15th here as he's going to go ahead and make his way on through. He's trying to get a move done. Richardo does get the retake, but we do have a good line here from Daniel T, and they're going to continue to battle it out here as Cooper now is trying to put pressure onto Dido, and it has been very good. Oh, a battle back here, I think. It is Connor making a move on to Swift, getting that position there. And so far, we have some pretty good battles, and something we missed is Broadsta did get the pass, and now he is ahead of Oblivion here, SJ.
Yeah, it looks like to me it's a bit of a deja vu situation from the sprint. Lap 2 out of 28, Watan 2.3 seconds out in front. Rawstar, nice having a nice little battle there with Oblivion, same in the sprint, but a little bit of a change there in that P4 spot with Rift, joining the party and getting involved in this situation. So it looks like it's going to be a very interesting battle. The question is, do these guys work together to try and catch Wonton, or do they just battle for nearly 26 laps? That's going to be the question. What a start it has been for these guys. We did see them both going side by side in the S's on that lap 1, which is risky, but yeah, this is going to be the question. The question is now, Wreckers, it's about trying to gather that momentum, keeping that momentum, and not getting any track limit penalties. We saw track limit penalties earlier on in the sprint, only on 10 laps. There's 28 laps to go in this race. Will they get any penalties in this race? But at the moment, this looks like this is wontons for the taking.
And here we're seeing some moves kind of shaping up here through the midfield as Oblivion and Broadsta doing battle yet again here into Lone Star State. These guys are giving it their all here. And look at this, just the wide variety of lines you can take through this corner when you're just battling it out. He's going to go in and try to catch up to the back and try to retake that position from the Alpine. But if these guys aren't too careful, then Rift might invite himself kind of to the party here as they continue to race here in Texas. They're going to go ahead and give it their all here. As Connor, like you're talking about with the penalties, and they just got their first set of penalties here. As now there's battles just up ahead. Oblivion and Broadsta doing a battle here. They're both on these medium tires. So we'll see who can go ahead and get the success here. It looks like it is Broadsta for the time being, but Oblivion's going to be in that DRS. And just behind them, you have Rift and Dito going ahead and jockeying for a position. The two Williams are going to probably work together here to try to get maximum amount of points for the Grove-based team here, SJ.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at those tyres as Daniel gets a penalty down there in P17. And as you can see on the tyre situation, everyone from P1 to P15 on those mediums. So Ricardo, Daniel T, Mikey DeBoy and Camillo will go the longest on those hard compounds at the moment. But this is a fantastic race at the moment, seeing Oblivion and Broadstar really going at it. The championship leader, he is really going at it with Broadstar there, taking a very wide line there. Oh, and he's gone right into the back of Broadstar. And that's going to be so careful when you take out a different line in that final sector. And do you not want to get any damage on that as well? And look at this, 4.2 second gap between Broadstar and Watanabe. So the problem is here, Rekus, is these guys keep battling in that P2 and 3 spot and just letting Watan run away with this race. It's easy for him. As here we go again, Oblivion's going for another move. Just has to be careful of the dirty air there. Goes tight onto the left-hand side. Broadstar holds his line and keeps out in front. Rift must be looking at this from a POV point of view and think, what do I do? I just got to be careful that the guy in front doesn't break too far in front of me and I end up going into his rear. But as you can see, again, they're going at it as Oblivion goes round the outside, trying to get the move, get a bit of traction coming out of that corner. But Broadstar is holding his line. He is going to come under a little bit of pressure, though, coming out to the DRS. So as you can see there, Oblivion right on his rear, and then Rift is looking to make a move as well. So the slipstream in the third spot here is incredible. So you'll see Rift, he will get an extremely fantastic slipstream off the back of Oblivion, which will then help him trying to attack Broadstar if he gets it right. But he doesn't get it right, as Rift does go for a move. No, he doesn't. Broadstar and Oblivion do, though, as Broadstar holds his line yet again, and we're going to have another battle in P4 yet again as Oblivion tries to go around the outside. Broadstar comes on inside and keeps his line, and Oblivion keeps out in front, and we're going again on that 5 very, very soon. But God, no, it doesn't stop there, because Broadstar wants to send it around the outside. Fantastic driving from the Alpine driver. Absolutely incredible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this for 24 laps. Back to you, Rekus.
Yeah, you might want to get some cough drops for this, because your voice box is going to need it, because this is intense racing here. They say everything is bigger in Texas, but apparently the moves are massive here tonight. These guys are really fighting for it here. They're fighting like this is the final race of the season and the championship is tied on points. That's how tough these guys are fighting, but while these guys are fighting it out, Rift is pretty much almost equally in this conversation for a podium spot here for the Sauber. And Watanabe is, I mean, he's already gone. He's already looking at the next race. It looks like a bit of contact between Oblivion and Broadsta here, as Camilo is out. So that is retirement number 1 here of the feature, as Oblivion is going to try to shake for a move. But look at Rift. Rift is something that the Oblivion cannot forget about. He's going to have DRS here at this stage. He'll probably easily get past the Alpine here just because of the speed differential. As he's going to go ahead and try to get him to move, diving up the inside. Oblivion's going to hold it, but look at Broadsta. Oh, Broadsta gets forced off the track. Oblivion might have a position lost here, as Rift is pretty much right in an opportune spot. A bit of contact. It's almost 3 wide into the hairpin. You never see drivers go 3 wide through turns 15 and 16. extraordinary racing that we're seeing here at the Circuit of the Americas. This is why everybody loves the track, because you get beautiful moments like that. Now, Rift has had a bit of a rough go in the last couple of corners, but Rift really had a good shot there to get a beautiful P3 position there.
Yeah, it's definitely going on at the moment. But these guys have got to be careful, though, because if they do make one mistake, it could be curtains. As you can see, they're getting very close together. Excuse me.
Oh!
They're getting very close there, as there's a little bit of a hit there from Broadstar. I don't know if that was a connection issue there or Oblivion hit him. We'll have to wait and see there, but he's pulled into 7.5 tenths now, so Broadstar's going to get a little bit of a gap. But look at this, 7 seconds to Watan. He has got the easiest race he has probably had all season, and he's had some fantastic races. Mikey the Boy getting a penalty down there in P17, but there's battles. We mustn't forget about the rest of the order though as well, because as much as we've seen Broadstar and Oblivion go at it, let's go a little bit further down, because we've also got the two Williams of P5 and P6, Dido and Lockie. We've also got Cooper Bot and Ozzy Monero in there as well. Wicked Moist is in there, number 1 Swift is in there, so's Connor, so's Plugger, and so's Zenitsu. And Lamb is 3 seconds down the road as well. So very interesting to see battles all over the place. But if you are tuning in with us tonight, if you do not want to go anywhere, lap 6 out of 28, and you've got Oblivion and Broadstar, and they've been going at it for basically the start to now. The question is can they keep it going? Can they keep it going? When the tyres are going to start to fall off, we're going to start to see, a few things that can change here, and also strategy. They're fighting extremely hard, and as we do know that Cota is a bit of a pain, like Mexico, for tyre wear. As we can see here, Broadstar goes around the outside, Oblivion keeps the inside, and they're going to go at it again, but Broadstar keeps the position back, but then Oblivion comes on the left-hand side, going through the S's, and there you go, Oblivion back out in front. We're seeing yellows there in Sector 1, Squash Josh is round, and he's lost it. I don't know what's happened there. It looks like he's lost it on the grass down there in P18, so might have had a spin or an incident. We'll have to wait and see. But back out to the front, Watan is nearly 10 seconds out in front, and we're only on lap 7, Rickers.
I knew this man was going to be a problem, but look at this. The two drivers of Ozzy and Cooper going at it. The two FST drivers, it is Academy driver, it is Sensei versus Student here. And we'll see who's going to go to win this battle. It looks like Ozzy Monero is winning that battle at the moment, as we see some battles here up and down the field like you're talking about. I know we've spent a lot of time focusing on that battle for P3, but there's battles all across the field. And we're seeing another battle here. It is Broadstar and Oblivion going side by side again. I mean, these two just don't know the meaning of the word quit. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful racing here in Division 2 here tonight. But look at this. It's going to be Oblivion trying to force up the inside. Broadstar wanting to go in and try the switchback. And look at this. Oblivion's got DRS, but Broadstar's catching him. The DRS meant absolutely nothing to Broadstar. Oblivion had the DRS, and Broadstar just said, alright, now watch this drive, as there's a bit of contact here just beginning into the S's coming out of turn 2. But wow, we are seeing absolutely peak racing here in Div 2 tonight. This might be the best Div 2 race of the season.
Yeah, it's going on, isn't it? 20 laps to go, and you don't want to go anywhere at the moment, because these two are just at it all night. And well, Watan, he's loving life at the moment. But these guys have got to, they've got to keep the concentration on. I'm going to jump on board with an onboard with Rift just to see if he wants to make any decisions. We'll jump on board with an onboard for Rift to see what he can see from his view. But the thing is, in Rift's situation, when these guys make a mistake, he can capitalise. It's just when. and when is the right time, because these guys are fighting hard. Oh, there you go. There's a hit. There's a spin. That could have been a spin.
Oh!
No contact, but Rift has swapped. He's been caught sleeping, and Dino's going to go and try and go around the outside. Does he get the move done? No, Rift holds his line and keeps the position. Very nicely done there from Rift. Back into P4. Lockie now into P5. Dino into P6, so the Williams have switched. So we could see a little bit of a move coming on from Lockie at the moment, but Portstar still in that P3 spot. Oblivion still in that P2 spot, and we're still having a train from P2 all the way down to P14 as Wicked Moist has come into the pits. He's fed up with the traffic and he's going for the undercut there, as you can see. Portstar goes for the move. Oblivion goes for the slip sweep back there, doesn't get the move done, gets closer to him again, and he doesn't get the move done. Thank you for the on board there, Rickers. But phenomenal racing. You just don't know when these guys are going to stop, or if they're going to stop.
I think that was, like, with the onboard Rift, I think that was just us kind of sharing a brain cell, because I was like, alright, Rift has got a beautiful front row seat to all the action here. I mean, and I was actually going to comment too, if they make a mistake, it could go either way for Rift. Either he could really capitalize on it, or he can pretty much get dinged by it. And I think that's actually what we saw. We actually saw him almost get dinged there. He had to check up, which caused Dino to have to check up, which actually allowed Lockie to get on through. So that's how all that kerfuffle happened in Sector 3. Because I think Rift was so close that if he waited another second, he would have ran into the back and probably snapped a wing off. So definitely, it was kind of an interesting case, because he's close enough to benefit, but also almost too close to where if they collide and spin out, then he's going to be direct collateral from that incident. So we'll just see how the rest of this race pans out. But right now we are seeing some beautiful battling here. As now we're actually seeing some drivers going ahead and making their pit stops. Swith is in, Dito is in, so a few drivers calling it pits time here, trying to get the undercut, trying to respond to Wicked there. So we'll see if that comes into fruition. We'll see if the undercut did work for the newly signed McLaren driver. And it looks like it didn't. So the undercut was countered there by the Williams and the Red Bull. But now we jump back to the front. Another thing that I don't think I really need to draw much attention to, but something I'm going to draw attention to anyway, aside from Zenitsu getting a 3-second time pen. Watan AB is about 13 seconds ahead, mind you. He is 13, yes, not 1.3, 13 seconds ahead. Can we just think about that for a moment? Domination is rare in Rush to this extent. He has activated his 2023 Max Verstappen mode and just started romping off with it. But look at this. Once again, Oblivion and Broadstad doing battle here, giving it their all, leaving nothing to chance. And it's either go big or go home for these drivers, clearly.
Yeah, no, definitely. You can see the question is going to be the strategy now. We're on lap 11 out of 28. Are we going to start to see some moves happening within the strategy? We've seen a few guys coming into the pits, like Mikey the Boy. Sorry, not Mikey the Boy. We've seen Dido, Swift, and Wicked all coming into the pits. We're now seeing another 3 drivers of Lockie and Cooperbot and Connor. So yeah, we've still got the top 6 all on those 10-lap mediums at the moment and pushing on. And you've also got those guys that started on those hards earlier on as well. Mikey the Boy and Daniel T on those hards as well. They'll get a little bit further than these guys. The question is when will the leader pit? Because he's got a good buffer. 13-second buffer at the moment with this battle between Oblivion and Portstar, who have not dropped that DRS once. And Rift is right there ready to pick up the pieces, and so is Ozzy Manero. So are we going to see a little bit of a change here now for Alpine? Are we going to start to see them start working together? Because that kick is obviously in an Alpine sandwich at the moment. He's got one in front and one in behind, and they're both in a DRS train. So does Broadstar ease off the pace a little bit and try and bring Ozzy Manero, or does he just let Ozzy Manero do what he needs to? Because Broadstar is in this fantastic battle, and this is for podium, and also in a championship situation as well, who You know, he is battling the man that's leading the championship at the moment, but this is fantastic. Lap 11 out of 28, they're still going at it. Watan is coming around the corner. Are we going to see this man coming into the pits? Let's have a look. No, he's going again. So goes again on lap 12. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see when he pits. Oblivion, he's coming around. Are we going to see him make a stop? Now, let's have a look. Yes, we do. We do. We see Oblivion coming into the pits. Broadstar follows him. So does Rift. So all three do the same. And Ozzy Monero will continue. The question is, will Ozzy Monero be out in front of these guys when he comes around to do his pit stop? So there you go. Strategy has taken its toll. The question is it going to make any difference? Or is it going to still be Broadstar and Oblivion out in P2 and P3 records?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, honestly. But here's another thing, too, that we're going to have to note, is that Aussie is going to be clear air. So, and I mean, clear air on this track is so nice. He's got no traffic ahead. The only car ahead is about almost 14 and a half seconds ahead. And then the car behind him is about 8 seconds behind. So, he's in a really good spot just to kind of just drive and just kind of peacefully exist here and just ultimately do really good work here and really try to close in that gap a bit and try to cancel the undercut. I think I do want to know is that the Williams of Dito has actually split Broadsta and Oblivion, and Dito actually gets past Broadsta or Oblivion too. 3 wide here contact between the Williams and the Ferrari, and this battle was already interesting enough, and it somehow, some way, got even more interesting as Oblivion and Broadsta battle out. Dito is there just ahead of them, and look at this. Look at how just tightly packed all these cars are. It's like a pack of Oreos, just how tightly packed they are. This is incredible stuff. Unlike a bag of Lay's chips here in the US, there is no air between these guys.
No, there's nothing, and you can see Ozzy Monero is coming out of the pits now. He's got everyone coming down at the main straight. There's Dito, there's Ozzy, there's Dito, there's Oblivion, there you go, there's Ozzy Monero. And where's he going to come out of? What's he going to come into? He's going to come into all this traffic. Oh no, has he timed that to perfection? We'll have to wait and see. He's on basically 1 lap 2 or 1 lap fresher tyres than the most of these guys. Dito out in front, Daniel T still going on those 12 lap hards. Same with Mikey the Boy there, both getting penalties out the front there. 3 Mikey Boy and 6 for Daniel T. Wonton is still out there, 20-second gap between him and Mikey the Boy. So basically it's a 28-second gap between him and Dito at the moment. Yeah, 28-29, there you go. So he has got 1 pit stop up his sleeve, ready to go. And yeah, he's in great situation here. The question is, when's he going to do it? When's he going to pull the trigger? As we can see, lap 13. And yes, he is. He's pulling the trigger. He's coming in. So there you go. Watanabe is in. Mikey the Boy is coming round into that sector 3 area with Daniel T right behind him. Oblivion has got the move done on Dito. And Dito is in that nice little battle there between Broadstar and Rift on 2 lap older tyres than these guys in front. So the question is, Dito needs to stay with Oblivion. If Oblivion pulls away, then Broadstar's going to find it very difficult to try and catch up to him. So the question is here all about the DRS, and there you go. Wonton comes out of the pits in front of Mikey the Boy, still in P1 records.
I was going to say, honestly, Watan was so far ahead that he had the chance to do the funniest thing ever and just extend until he finishes off the race on a set of soft tires. But I think Watanabe is actually on the verge of going for a Grand Slam here. Because I know typically when we think of a Grand Slam, it's pole position, fastest lap, and getting a race win. But there's another part of that that isn't really talked about a whole lot, and that is leading every single lap. And I mean, with it being a sprint race and Watanabe also potentially about to go ahead and double that achievement, I mean, Watanabe is pretty much about to get maximum amount of points here on the night. Because I think he's got fastest lap here. He does, yeah, by quite a bit, as Dino's going to try to make a send on to Oblivion. Is he going to get it? It's going to be a tight one. We'll have to see if he can hold on to it. These guys are fighting it out tooth and nail. But back to the point of Watan, he's got a really good chance of doing a super Grand Slam here, which I think would be a first, at least this season in Div 2.
Yeah, no, he's had some fantastic races in the last few weeks. Obviously after the break week, and Abu Dhabi was a very, very good race for him as well. Zandvoort was a very, very good race for him as well. So yeah, really, really good racing so far there. I've just seen Dino make a bit of a mistake, and he's dropped all the way down into P6 there. So was P3, now P6. So yeah, are those tyres gonna be able to hold it? That's going to be the question. As he's got his teammate down there in P8 at the moment, and he is right in the battle. And this is so difficult for these guys at the moment, Wreckers, because they are all in this snake. That is all they are in at the moment. They can't make a move. They can't overtake. They can only overtake down the DRS.
Oh!
But Broadstar, 3 seconds. That's massive. He does not want that. He's made a big mistake, and Dino's about to go make the move. Does he get the move? They do not want to lose Oblivion. Oblivion is trying to pull away. It's 1.2, 1.1, 1.3. Oblivion is out of DRS. This is not what they wanted, and they have just gifted Oblivion the opportunity now to try and pull away and try and catch up to Watan, which is going to be a big ask. But there we go. We can see there as Broadstar locks up the brakes. He's got it all wrong. A little bit of concentration has just switched off there, and Rift is going around the outside trying to get the move done, and Broadstar comes around the outside. He goes for the move, holds his position. Rift tries to go around the outside. He holds his position. They're going wheel to wheel, and those two are now battling, which is letting Dino try and pull away out their DRS, who is very, very close to the back of Oblivion still in that DRS. So it's not all lost yet, but couple of mistakes there could have been curtains for these guys, but Broadstar has gone from P3 or P4 down to P6 with that 3 seconds, and he's in a massive train of cars, Wreckers.
Indeed, and actually something I want to note here, now the Williams of Dino is in the similar spot, but you can see from this perspective, you can see a little bit of a blinking light on the back of that Ferrari. And that is kind of signalizing that he is roughly very low on ERS, as Cooper DeBot will be the next driver to join that penalty club. And this is just going to add another layer of complexion to this race. The ERS management is going to be an insane thing to really work with here. And I mean, especially down this massive straight right after turn 11 coming into sector 2. It is a very good place to get a good slipstream. Dino will get DRS. He's going to go ahead and close in the gap here, as Mikey and Daniel are currently having a pretty good battle up here, up at the front here. These guys have swapped positions a handful of times, although they are on an older set of tires. They're on the 15 lap, soon to be 16 lap old hard tires, so they'll probably come in probably sooner rather than later. I say within the next lap or so, they're probably going to go ahead and just come on into the pits, and they'll probably swap to a set of mediums as they come through. Turn number 19, we'll see if either of them dive in. No, maybe. Yeah, okay, so Mikey came in, but Daniel did not. But speeding in the pit lane is another penalty, and Mikey's done. He has called it in the pits. And now the battle continues. It is Ferrari versus Williams versus Alpine versus Sauber. Beautiful battle here as we're in the second half of this race here, SJ.
Yeah, definitely. And Vivian is looking at P2 at the moment. Like it, well, don't know why he's retired there. Don't know why he's retired. He's got the pen. You know, still had a massive opportunity, but things could have changed. So yeah. Don't know why he's retired there, bit of a shame. But yeah, Oblivion looking at P2 and Dino looking at that P3 at the moment. Broadstar out of the top 3 due to that penalty, and will fall way down the pecking order with those pens as well, with a few others. And yeah, very interesting to see there what's going on. But Oblivion still out in that P2 spot currently, when Daniel does make a pit stop, who is just going to continue and will be probably pushing for those mediums or even for those softs. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Oblivion in that P3 spot, Dino in the P4 spot. Can his teammate Lockie get some places and move up with him as well? He's got Broadstar with that pin, and he's right behind Rift in that DRS as well. The question is Dino... Oh, Watan!
Well,
Gets a 3-second time penalty, but the guy is out way too far in front, so that shouldn't really matter. But as Oblivion getting a little bit out of sorts there, coming out into the final corner there. Yeah, this race is very interesting. It's now all about concentration with 10 laps to go, Marcus.
Indeed. And another thing on Mikey. Mikey had several. I think he actually had more than just 10 seconds. I think he had he says in chat he had 16 seconds pens, which, yeah, that's going to be, that would always be kind of a rough one to kind of come back from. But, yeah, I mean, Watan AB, he's probably the one driver who could get a ton of penalties and still win this race. I mean, I know Watan's not the type of driver, but, I mean, theoretically, he could just go for fun and try to get extra penalties just to try to make this race more challenging for himself. Because this man is about 10 seconds ahead with the penalty. Obviously, we can see that it is 14 seconds without that penalty, but he is still in a super good spot here in this race. And, I mean, with Aston Martin leading the overalls at the moment, this is exactly where he wants to be. As Dino does get the move done onto Oblivion. Good move there. We actually kind of missed it. I was trying to get a better angle of it. But then Bronsta is also within that mix, as it is the Ferrari and Williams battle here in the fight for P2 on track here at the moment. These guys are really going to go ahead and leave it all on the line, leaving nothing to chance, trying to go ahead and survive this beautiful 28-lap rodeo that is Rush Racing League Div 2 feature race at Cota. Bit of a snap there from Dino coming out of turn 20 though, so that's going to open the door for Bronson to get a move done on track. He will have to break 3 seconds out. He's going to make the send. Is he going to get a pass one, get one? No, he doesn't, but he will get the move done. Dino actually losing 2 positions off that exchange. And that puts Rift in podium contention here, as they have lost DRS to Oblivion, crucially. But it looks like Oblivion's struggling though through the S's. So he actually is still within DRS range of Bronsta, which is good for him. But I think at the detection zone, we'll see if he was able just to stay out enough just to break that DRS. We'll have to see this Bronsta have DRS coming into this, because if he doesn't, then that's going to be a tough time. He did just barely keep the DRS, or keep himself within range at the detection point. And then he is going to go ahead and hold the position for now. Rift there, staring at the back of the Alpine and the Ferrari. It's a view he's gotten kind of accustomed to here in this race. But just taking a look at just everything here, how many positions people have made. Dan is really the only one who's made up a lot of substantial positions. Everybody else is just kind of fighting tooth and nail for these spots here, SJ. This is just pure cinema here in Texas.
Yeah, a bit of drama there at the back. Wicked Moist has lost his front right plate there, so there might be a bit of an incident there at the back there between him and Plugger. We'll have to wait and see, or someone else. But yeah, a little bit of drama there, and Zenitsu gets a penalty as well. But yeah, it's just changed things up again now, hasn't it? Because now Rift is in a opportunity of getting a podium now, as Ballstar does have that 3 seconds in Oblivion in that P2 spot at the moment. So as it stands, Rift will go into P3 and Oblivion will stay P2. The question is, can Dido get back into that? Can he get back into the groove and try and get the move done on Rift and get back into that Broadstar and cause problems again on Oblivion? So we'll have to wait and see. The question is going to be tough, because Dido has 2 lap older tyres than anyone else, so we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But at the moment, it's looking like a nice little train between Oblivion, Broadstar, Rift, Dido, and Lockie. Arrow is 2.5 seconds back, so they're not really in contention at the moment. We've got 8 laps remaining. In the next couple of laps, we'll start looking at driver of the day, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, this has been a fantastic night for Watanabe tonight. 18 seconds out in front. He is absolutely flying. And obviously must have a fantastic setup, which is just working to a T. And yeah, hasn't even really been questioned at all in this whole race. So yeah, fantastic night for him. Oblivion he's had it tonight. He's had to deal with Broadstar, he's had to deal with Dido, he's had a lot there, but the question is he going to be able to hold on to it and not get a penalty with 7 laps to go? That's going to be the question. Broadstar getting that penalty early on has really hurt him now, and he knows that he needs to try either cause a problem with Oblivion, maybe push him to a penalty situation if he can, or he is just going to have to try and, I don't know, pray for the stars at the moment, because he is dropping way down the pecking order to P6. So yeah, not probably good for him, as in it's another retirement there. And that is the Haas, a Mercedes and a McLaren. 21 laps out of 28, and I'll let you jump on board with Rift for an onboard of this lap.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just watch as he is still within DRS range. We're on the cusp of DRS range. But he's going to go ahead and get it and make his way closer and closer to the back of Broadstein. And once again, I mean, in his mind, he must have like just this popcorn bucket just watching this absolute cinema of a battle happening ahead of him, waiting for his time to strike and go ahead and kick himself into that P3 position. He's got a good run now coming through this tight and twisty sector number 3 with a massive sweeping right-hander coming into what I like to call a penalty corner, turn 19, and he's got a good view of Oblivion and Bronston going at it as we begin lap number 22 for these guys as they make their way up to Big Red. And the clouds have kind of shown up here, so the track is going to cool down a little bit, so it's going to be slightly easier on the tires, although I think the dirty air will still do a lot more damage on them. Coming through the Lone Star S's now, making his way on through. Gonna try to do his best. He's got a good amount of battery to play with as they continue to make their way through the S's. And now he's going to go ahead and try to get closer and closer to the back. He's still within crucial DRS range. And he's going to go ahead and give it another go again down this straight.
Yep, going to be in that view again coming up to lap 23. And this is a real tough one tonight, Rickers. Driver of the day, top 5, obviously, all started in the same spots. But yeah, I'm going to put it to you. Who do you think deserves driver of the day?
On one hand, I mean, if we just take a look at the positional changes, one hand I want to kind of give it to Daniel just because he's moved up the most positions, but he's got a penalty. But on the other hand, I also want to give it to Watanabe just because of how dominant this man has just been all week. So, I think ultimately, it's kind of tricky actually. I might actually just give it to Watanabe just considering how dominant he has just been this week. And it's a rare form of dominance. You don't really see it here in league racing in general, let alone a very competitive league like Rush. So, I think I'm going to give it to Watan.
Alright, I'm going to give mine to Rift.
Rift is another good shout as well.
He's just stayed with these guys, and he is just massive opportunity getting onto the podium. And yeah, he's just staying with them, and yeah, I think it's a great drive from him. So they are your driver of the day. So I'll do my vote. Tell me when you've done yours. Here's mine.
Alright, and mine is in.
There we go. So driver of the day is in. Right, here we go. We've got these guys still going at it. They're back at it again between Oblivion and Broadstar, and this could be key massively as Wonton gets another penalty. So even though he's not feeling the pressure out there, he's feeling the pressure of the penalties, because that's now 2, and he's up to 6 seconds. So, yeah, and if a safety car come out now, oh, that would be absolute cruel. That would hurt. That would be soul destroying. I will talk about though, as Squash Josh has left the session, unfortunately. So hopefully we can get him back in. So I'll just send him an invite if I can find him. There we go. But yeah, they're back at it once again, Rekus, and they're battling again and again.
Yeah, I mean, this is El Clasico here tonight in Austin, Texas. I mean, they're duking it out. Broadster getting the move done in the S's. I mean, we've seen that a couple of times here tonight. Drivers getting moves done through the S's, and now he's going to go ahead and, as Oblivion gets really close to the back of Broadster there. Broadster essentially parking the bus right in that corner. And now they're going to go. It's Oblivion to the inside. He's going to get the move done. He will have DRS because of the detection zone point is a little bit before that corner. And now he's got a good chance. But look at the battle between these two. It is a drag race. The Ferrari is good on that straight line. He will clear the position, but can he hold it is the question. He's got Broadstead going in and just fighting it out with 5 laps to go here in the feature race here at Austin, Texas, and they are going to go ahead and duke it out. They're just fighting for their lives here on track, trying to go ahead and get some beautiful moves here like we've seen all night long, and they're going to get so close you can barely fit a soda can in between these two drivers. How close they are. They're going to go ahead and continue to do battle here going into lap number 25. So 4 laps to go here on the night, and it's close. It's tricky. I mean, it's pretty much make or break here because it's not too much racing left to go. Broster going to try to sling it around the outside. He's going to give it a go, and he's got the position for now. But can he keep it? We'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah, this is the big thing now, getting very, very close to the end of this race with literally 4 laps to go. If one of these guys make a mistake, you've got Rift, you've got Dido, you've got Lockie, that can all capitalise on their mistake, as the only person that does have a penalty is Broadstar. Sorry, and Watan. But Watan is miles in front, and as you can see, these guys are still going at it as Broadstar, oh, and then he spins for Oblivion. They are getting very close, and they are now starting to make mistakes. Are we going to see Rift? Are we going to see Dido try and capitalise on that Rift, getting very close to the back of Broadstar and Oblivion, but cannot get the move done until he finds one mistake, which it just doesn't seem to happen at the moment. They are getting quite close though. They are calling it. This is nerve-wracking. You know, you do not want to be making these mistakes. You want to try and get the position, get the points. Broadstar knows he's got that 3 seconds, so he's going to try and keep battling as much as he can and force Oblivion or Rift into a situation where they could get a 3-second pen. Then that could open up his chances of getting a podium at the moment. But as it stands, he needs to be very careful because Ozymandias is now starting to join the party of this battle. He is 1 second back from Lockie. So, and he is on 2 lap fresher tyres than all of them. Sorry, 1 of them and 2 of them. So we could see a little bit of a change there. Lamb gets another penalty. That is now 15 seconds of penalties for XD Lamb down there in P14. But 26 out of 28, 3 laps to go. Can you see any change in this top 3?
Well, Bronson getting another 3-second penalty. That certainly shakes things up here. He is on the 6 seconds of pens. So that pretty much brings his door wide open. I mean, I think Bronson's still going to try to get this done on track. So I think across the line we'll see a change. But it's tricky because, I mean, Bronson's got the DRS, so he'll get this move done and dusted going into 12. And then just behind him, he's got this whole gaggle of cars out of him, just kind of following him and Oblivion, kind of like just ducks following a mama duck around. And they're going to try to jockey for some positions, but honestly, I don't really see any positional changes happening here. I think Rift has done a fantastic job tonight, and I think he will keep that position ahead of the two Williams. Because we gotta think back about it. Dito's on older tires, and Lockie, I think he's just gonna try to bide his time and just wait it out. So I think in general, this top 60 is probably gonna stay the way it is. But I think on the penultimate lap, Aussie might have a moment. But look at this! The battle between these two is cinema here as we are on the penultimate lap.
I'll let you take this last one, and I'll take the final lap for the last time for a while. So over to you.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and just continue to watch this beautiful battle as the clouds are rolling in, and Oblivion is trying to roll himself into position to get an overtake here, as Oblivion is gonna close the gap. He's gonna close the gap here, and he's gonna go ahead and give it a go. And he's going to have DRS. We already see Brawster already going on a different line. He's going to already try to stick it defensive here. As they go, they're going. He's going to close the gap with Rift right behind. Aussie gets it moved onto Lockie here. And that is a position gain for Aussie Manero. And they are going to continue to fight it out. And I mean, this is just bare knuckle, just hard racing here as they continue to do battle here. And actually, Watan is already halfway through this final lap, so over to you, SJ.
Yeah, here we go for the last time for round number 13 at Cota. Watanabe gets another penalty, and that now pushes him into 9 seconds of penalty, but he is 31 seconds out in front. It's incredible. The question is Broadstar and Oblivion and Rift and Dito and Minero and Loki all going to stay in the same position? They have one last chance, and it is definitely down this DRS zone in Sector 2. They are going to have to burn everything. They are all saving up all their batteries. They're going to burn everything as much as they can. And let's see, here we go. As Oblivion goes for a move, and he's trying to get the move done. He doesn't know if Broadstar will get that 3 seconds removed. He's got no chance. He's got no idea. Now he's not going to risk it. He's going to go for it. What does Rift do? Does Rift burn? No, he doesn't get to burn enough. We're going to see anyone burn behind. Everyone is burning everything they can. Oblivion is burning. We've got yellows in that Sector 1 area at the moment. Here goes Oblivion into the turn, and we've got Broadstar. Keeps that position. He's going to hold it. Rift is not going to get closer. Dito's not going to get closer either. Aussie Manero, is he going to have a go at Dito or Loki? Oblivion and Broadstar going at it one more time. Oblivion goes the long way round, gets better traction out of the corner, gets the move done. He's out in front. Broadstar comes round the outside one last time. He goes for the move. Does he keep the position? Yes, he does. Oblivion has to hold position, and Broadstar will win on track. And Oblivion gets a 3-second penalty on the last lap.
No.
You would never have seen it. He's done it all season, and look what that has done. I cannot believe I've just seen Oblivion. It's a penalty on the last lap and goes from P2 to P6. That hands Rift P2 and Dito P3. You would have not called that in a million years, Rekus. What a race and what final scenes there. Watanabe P1, Rift P2, Dito P3. Back to you.
That turn 19 track limit is a killer. And that's exactly where he got that penalty out there, right at the last moment here. And this podium drastically changed in a fraction of a second. This is stuff you can only see at Rush Racing League. This was absolutely incredible to watch. Watanabe getting possibly the most dominant win of the season in any division here this season. What a drive from the Aston Martin driver. It's going to do wonders for them in the overalls here, and they're going to go ahead and spray the champagne. A very well-driven race indeed. Driver of the day does go to Daniel T in game, but we have given it to Watanabe. Dito will have the cleanest driver award, and Watanabe will go ahead and get the fastest lap as we go ahead and take a look at our feature race results here. Watanabe wins the race even with 9 seconds of pent. It didn't matter, you're still 24 seconds ahead of Rift. Dito getting the podium after a dramatic last moment penalty, and then is Aussie, Lockie, Oblivion, Swift, Broadsta, Koopa the Bot, and then we have Plugger, Squash Josh, Daniel T, Connor, Wigged, and then we have Richardo, XD Lamb, Zenitsu, Mikey, and Camilo rounding things out here. And oh my, that last lap was just. This whole race was just pure cinema. Like, this is probably going to be race of the season, honestly. That is absolutely amazing as we go ahead and get ready to kick off our interviews here. So, do we have anybody in the comms box for interviews? Yes, we do. And we do have our top 3 here on the night. And actually, SJ, I'll let you kick off the first interview with Dito, our P3.
Yes, Dito. I think you're probably a little bit knackered after that. What a race! It was basically follow everyone else and then try and make a move. We could see that your tyres were a little bit older than the other guys, but yeah, to just give us a little bit of an insight of your race tonight in the sprint and the feature.
Yeah, man, it was just a bit of a survival. We realised the setup that we went with were a little bit on the higher downforce side, so struggled a bit on the straights, man, and there was some crazy stuff going on, not so much in the sprint, but especially in the feature. Some crazy stuff, so it was a bit of a chaotic race, man. I probably didn't deserve P3, obviously the guys in front had pens, but yeah, man, not pretty set on just bringing it home in the position I was in because, yeah, I don't know, it could have ended badly. I had damage pretty much the whole race. Only small damage on my wing, but it was enough to annoy me. So, yeah, we got there, man, and Lockie, good first race for the team. It's good points, so.
Yeah, it was incredible, and obviously penalties with track limits and stuff are the key at Cota, especially in those S's as well. And yeah, I think it's a stellar performance from yourself and your teammate, and you're on the podium again. And yeah, I don't think you would have thought that if you would have seen what we would have seen in the comms box that the guy that looked like he was going to finish in P2 dropped down to P6. Getting a penalty on turn 19.
Yeah, it was really last minute, man. I was quite lucky. I only had one warning. So I got in the last few laps, but yeah, I wasn't expecting Oblivion to get a pen there, but helped us obviously. But yeah, couldn't be happier really to get a podium again. But yeah, I definitely probably didn't have the pace today to put it on a podium as far as just pure race pace.
Well, you're on the podium, mate. P3, fantastic job. You've got Austria up next. How do you feel about that track?
Yeah, I love Austria. I've done well there in the past. I've had some good fights there in the past and battles and stuff. It's a good track. It can be pretty unforgiving though if you stuff up, especially turn 1. That's an awful corner for the first lap of the race. But yeah, I really do like Austria. It'll be good to obviously get straight back into it again next week and not have a week break. But yeah, man, I'm just happy to finish that one. There was a few times there I could have been out of the race. So yeah, happy to finish that one.
Well, definitely changes and puts a bit of a spice on the championship at the moment as well, as you do overtake Squash Josh and get into that P2 spot as well. And yeah, you'll be putting in a little bit of a points gap on Oblivion as well. That would be I won't be able to see you for a while now. So I hope you put on some fantastic action next week in Austria, and congratulations on the podium.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
To you, Rickers.
All right, Dito. So you mentioned that you had a little bit of wing damage that kind of affected your race a little bit, but ultimately you guys got some really good results here for the team. Just looking at the overalls, just considering that you guys aren't super far away from the back of Alpine, I believe, or no, Kick Sauber's the team directly ahead of you. Do you think there's a potential to get the team into P6, especially after all the driver moves you guys have made during silly season?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I've even been asked that considering the season we've had. It's just been focusing on each week, trying to get the boys to just, get as many points as we can. We were last for a long time. So I was always put the goal on sort of, P6 or 7 in the ovals would be sick. But I didn't really think we'd get up this far, this close to the end of the season. So looking forward to it too, man. I think we can maybe get Alpine. It's really close. We didn't have the greatest race in Div 4, but Alpine and Kick are obviously the closest. But the other teams aren't too far away either. Obviously, winning the ovals is not going to happen from here. But if I could get into that midfield, man, after the start of the season we had, I think that's a huge achievement.
I 100% agree. Just the turnaround that this team has had just over the span of the season has been a really inspiring story to a lot of aspiring TPs, essentially. Like, you guys are pretty much struggling in every facet, kind of like real life Williams, honestly. Just the massive turnaround that IRL Williams has had this season. Last question before we let you go and enjoy your podium. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special shout out to, or just anyone you want to thank after tonight?
Yeah, obviously Williams, and thank you to Nishka for engineering, and Lockie for his great result for his first race at Williams, man. Obviously Watan and Rift as well. Watan, I don't even know where that came from there, though. Same pace, but Rift especially, mate, was a good battle. So, and the comp, of course, but that's about it.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on the podium, and we will be seeing you next week at the Red Bull Ring.
Yes. Thanks, mate. See you then.
All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and jump on board with Rift for his interview. So Rift, how are you doing, man? I mean, you got a very, very good podium there today.
So happy across the line. It felt like it's been a long time coming, the first podium, and it was a very exciting race. It wasn't boring at all. So no, I was just so relieved across the line, and every tyres were good, battery was good. The driving was insane. Like, I had a front row seat of Vivian and Brodster going at it for however many laps that was. That was just insane. But yeah, it was great driving by them, and also Dito and Lockie behind. We just had a huge big battle, and yeah, it was amazing. It was such a good race, so much fun.
What was it like, pretty much having your entire view essentially just having a front row seat to that battle between Oblivion and Broadster, and then eventually you get past both of them anyway because they both get penalties.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was being a bit I was enjoying the show, but I had to be careful because I had both the Williams were right behind me, and if I made a mistake, they were going to go for it. And there were a few times when Oblivion and Broadster ahead, they got an awkward exit, and I had to slow down action. Then I came under attack from Dito or Lockie, so it was good to watch. But at the same time, I had one eye looking in the mirror because it was so full on, you just couldn't catch a break anywhere. So, but no, it was really good.
Indeed. Two more questions before I pass you over to SJ. Heading into next week, it is the Red Bull Ring in Austria. How are you feeling going into pretty much a very different track compared to Austin?
Yeah, no, it's a great track. Love Austria. It's another one like here. You got to be careful with time pans, and we saw that shaped up the podium in the end. But yeah, no, it's just got to be really consistent around there and really disciplined with track limits. But no, it's good track. It's going to be lots of battery games, and like today there's going to be heaps of overtakes as well. So no, it'll be good fun. I'm keen for Austria. So good memories there. So yeah.
All right, last question before I pass you over. Is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out after tonight's race here?
Well, shout out to like everyone he drove Watan. That was I remember starting the last lap. We're going into turn one. He was in the middle sector on the back straight. I was like, that was insane. But shout out to Sauber, given everything that happened in the trade silly season. Like it was looking pretty bad, and to come out and get a big result like that, it's just really good for the team. We've been struggling a bit, and to those that stuck around, thank you. And we can still get good results and do well in the championship. So yeah, big thanks to everyone at the team.
Indeed. Well, once again, congratulations on the podium. A very well-earned result there, and I will pass you over to SJ.
Cheers, Records.
Cheers, Regus. Rift. Wow. Yeah, you might have had a few Cobra moments in that whole race, mate. It was incredible. You're on boards. From your point of view, watching from your POV, which we did do in the race, how switched on do you have to be in this breaking point parts, especially in the sector 2 with the DRS zone, especially the dirty air with Oblivion and Broadstar?
Yeah, well, the first sector was actually really hard to find my line because they were going side by side in the S's, so I was being so careful not to cut or jack extend. But yeah, especially with the tyres going off, you have to play around with the brake bias and the on-throttle diff because the back end is just snapping so much. But you just, you're enjoying the show, you're trying to stay close, and then if you can, try and go for a move, which a couple of times I looked at it, but then I would have, like I said, I was under pressure from behind, so you kind of had to really weigh up whether to be aggressive or just hold back a bit. So I felt like I just held back. I knew towards the end that Broadstad had the penalties, so I was like, as long as I just don't lose DRS, I'm on the podium. And then, yeah, my eyes lit up when I saw my eyes lit up when Oblivion went off, and I was like, holy, we're going to be on P2. But yeah, it was just trying to manage the tyres and just manage the gaps to them in front and also the cars behind. But no, it was just so much fun. That's probably one of the most fun races I've ever done.
Yeah, I think it was for us as well. We saw the fantastic battle between Broadstar and Oblivion for so long, and obviously Wonton just obviously disappeared. I don't know where he went. He just disappears so fast tonight. And some very good points for you. And like you did say, yeah, it's been a bit of a tough week for Kick. You bring in some momentum going into Austria. Is that a fan favourite of yours? You feel that you now can continue the season with this momentum and put this car near the top of where these guys are?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of my fan favourites, Austria. I love driving around there. It's just really fast, so really good getting the car on the limit there. It just feels really nice, and you get it hooked up. It's a pretty good feeling. So yeah, I'm keen for Austria, and yeah, we can definitely build upon this, and in other divisions we can hopefully build upon some good results and just keep it going to the end of the season. It's not too long left, so we've got nothing to lose. Just go all out and try and see what we can do.
Yeah, great. Well, I will try and tune in as much as I can because I do love this division. It's so competitive. And yeah, all the best next week in Austria.
Thanks, SJ. Have a good one.
To you, Regus.
All right, and actually, we're going to go ahead and talk to Watanabe, our race winner here. Wonton, you pretty much, at every point in this weekend, you just checked out, and you basically already went to Austria. So, what is it about this track that you just love so much? And, just talk to us about your performance here today, because it was super dominant.
Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, Texas, I don't know. On previous games, I've hated this track. I've never enjoyed it. Driving it with, especially no traction, it's always been terrible. But in the past maybe 2 or 3 years, this has probably been my most favorite track to drive. The elevation changes are awesome. I don't know what it is. It just flows so nicely now. It's probably my most driven track on this game. Yeah, a lot of hours have gone into this track, a lot of practice. I knew I was going to be strong tonight. My quality pace showed it. Wasn't too sure about the race, but man, I don't know. I had the stream up on my second monitor, and I was just watching Oblivion and Broadstar. They were just every time I looked over, they were going too wide into every corner. So them battling just allowed me to kind of pull away, do my own thing, and yeah, really, really good race. It was kind of boring, I won't lie, but yeah, good race. I'm really happy with the result and happy that all the hard work is finally paying off.
Indeed, and with you guys already leading the overall championship, this is just giving you guys more momentum and more poise to kind of continue to build onto the already super strong foundation you guys had coming into this week. So, looking at the rest of this week and then ahead to Austria, do you think that the rest of this week is going to be equally as good? Do you think it's just in general a strong track for the Aston team? And if it is, then can you carry that momentum onto Austria next week?
Um, I will go with yes. I'd say our momentum's been pretty good lately. We seem to be doing pretty good across most of the divisions. We're bagging points where we need to. Even if one driver does really well, the other ones usually score on a couple points and contributing where they can. So as long as everyone's scoring points and doing what they need to do, I'm sure we'll keep doing well.
All right, last question before I hand you over to SJ. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special shout out to after tonight's performance?
Um, no, honestly, my entire team, they've been great. All getting involved and chipping in when they can, all like the practice sessions we do and all the engineering. Like, who do we have in there tonight? Obviously, me and Richardo were driving. We had JDI, A-Ban, Fat Cat. Um, I think that was one other, but I can't remember. But yeah, it's been good. Whole team, it's a really good team. I'm quite happy with it.
I mean, as you should be. I mean, even without penalties, you had about a 30-second gap, so that's definitely probably the biggest gap I've seen in Rush Racing League in my time here. But yeah, once again, congratulations on the race win. I think you pretty much had just about everything you could have gone out this weekend aside from cleanest driver, I think. Because you had fastest lap, 2 pole positions, and fastest lap in both the sprint and the feature. So overall, a very strong weekend from you, and I'll pass you over to SJ.
Thank you. Nah, something to aim for next week.
Thank you, Rekus. Yeah, I don't really have much to say, actually. I'm a bit speechless on this one for a change. I normally have a lot to say in these interviews, but no, just faultless, absolutely faultless. Like Watan said, maximum points in the sprint, maximum points in the feature. And obviously, you were getting penalties, quite fluid near the end of the race, but you could have probably got another couple more and would have still won the race. It was a pure dominant performance, and that dominant performance has got your second win of the season, and has now put you joint P2 on the same points as Dido. So 46 points to oblivion with 5 races to go. Can you do the unimaginable or unthinkable challenge of history of Rush and even take the lead of the Division 2 Championship, or do you feel that 46 points is a big ask?
Never say never. You never know. A lot has to go right for that to happen, but yeah, with how the past few races have been going, you never know. I look at some of the tracks coming up, and look, realistically, the answer's probably no. But look, if everything goes to plan, everything goes right, we can hope.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, that's the way. That's the way. And also having a lead still in the overalls, you must be feeling quite confident now going into the end of the season, or even into the next few races, that you feel that you can take it. You feel that you've got momentum. You've got a very strong driver in Division 4. You've obviously got yourself in Division 2. You've a very strong driver in Division 1. If the rest of the divisions can, start to pull through, I think I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch you for the end of the next 5 races.
Hopefully that's the main goal, the overalls. That's the prize position that we want. So fingers crossed.
Well, That's all from me. Absolutely fantastic race tonight, Watan. And yeah, congratulations on your second of the season. And I'll definitely be tuning in to Austria.
Sweet. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Right, Rekus, that is it, mate. Thank you very much for bailing me out and yeah, covering my backside for streaming. I really do appreciate it. And I'll let you end the show for the first time.
All right. Yeah, I mean, sometimes tech issues tend to happen. We kind of saw it a bit in Div 4 earlier, but sometimes OBS does OBS things. But we'll have to see if Aston Martin can continue doing Aston Martin things going into next week at the Red Bull Ring. So we'll just have to see if that same momentum can keep up. They are in the lead in the overalls, and they have just extended their lead in the overalls here tonight. Before we go, I do want to give a massive thank you to our partners here, Sim Racing Center, SimLab, Pagni, and Advanced Simulation, and of course, AI369. We appreciate you guys so very much. And of course, we have to thank everybody who tuned in tonight across both streams. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. We love you all. And tune in next week when we head to the Red Bull Ring for some high-speed action. On behalf of SJ, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus. And we've been your hosts and commentators for tonight's action, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.